it's Em, and I finally read The Impossible Fortune. I don't normally buy these books. I typically get them from the library, but our local bookstore had like this signed copy. I don't think he came to our bookstore or anything. I'm pretty sure I would have heard about it if he had, but I just treated myself to that. This one takes place, I want to say, 1.5 to 2 years after The Last Devil to Die. So, spoilers for the series. I'm not going to spoil this particular book, or I'm going to try not to. I will put a spoiler alert notification if that ends up happening. But, spoiler for previous books, as I set this up, in case you haven't gotten this far yet in the series. Stephen passed away, and Elizabeth is obviously still grieving. This book is kind of her coming a little bit out of that grief because she's presented with a new case, so to speak. Joyce's daughter, Joanna, is getting married. That's at the beginning of the book. And the husband, Paul, his best man, Nick, comes to Elizabeth and says, "Hey, I need your help." Someone had strapped a bomb to his car. He took a picture of it and showed it to Elizabeth, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And that obviously ignites some interest. And we go from there. Nick has a questionable business partner named Holly. Then we're wondering if Joyce's new son-in-law, Paul, has any part in what's going on. And in the meantime, there's this side story with Ron's daughter, Susie, who, I don't know, I almost didn't remember who she was. I remembered Kendrick, the grandson. Susie is Kendrick's mother, obviously, and Ron's daughter. And we get this side story of her finally kicking her abusive husband out, and the abusive husband trying to set up hits on her and Jason and maybe even Ron. I don't know. So that's going on in this kind of parallel way. We get a lot of Ibrahim and Connie mentoring a girl named Tia. Not in the way that Ibrahim had meant. She's kind of showing Tia how to be a criminal. So what we end up with largely is several things going on, so that everything's a little bit fractured and disjointed. We're not seeing a lot of the group together doing stuff together. And the through line largely, I feel, was about loneliness. We see Ibrahim kind of, constructing a family by trying to keep himself, busy with Connie, and Ron's his best friend, and he's got a connection to Kendrick, and he's forging a connection with Tia at one point, and also Joanna and Paul. So we've got that, and we've got Connie kind of sussing out how she feels about her life, or I don't know, something. Connie is a difficult character for me because I didn't like her, and then I liked her a little more, and then I go back and forth with her on whether or not I enjoy her, and I feel like with her, less is more, and the more she's in a story, the less I tend to like her. So here I was kind of about it up until towards the end of the book, where she kind of redeems herself a little bit in my eyes. But yeah, we get a lot of new characters in this book. The son-in-law, the best man, the business partner, a couple of people who work for them, a couple of other people that they request help from. Like, it's just this huge number of people. And then we've got Tia introduced. I don't know that we needed this many things happening in one book. It's not even that long a book. It's not like it made the book really long or anything. It just felt like I didn't enjoy the level of camaraderie between the characters that I'm used to, and that kind of, for me, is the point of the series. Also, Donna and Chris are largely absent We see a bit of Donna, but almost none of Chris. We see some Bogdan, but again, not a ton. And then we've got a potential setup for Tia to be doing something else in the future, maybe. I don't know. It's weird because I did give it 5 stars on Goodreads because at the end of the day, by the end of it, I did really enjoy it. I think it's more like 4.75 in my spreadsheet. That's what I gave it because it's not perfect. I liked it, I guess. The way I'm talking about it makes it sound like I didn't. I felt like the solution to the one real, well, there's another death, but that's something else. Trying not to spoil anything here, but the death that they are investigating, the solution to what happened there felt a little, I don't know. I was like, really? What I did enjoy, though, was Joyce kind of feeling bad for this one character, Jasper, who used to work with Elizabeth, and now he lives alone, and it's very clear he's lonely. Again, loneliness is a big theme in this book, and the way Joyce just kind of very gently does things to make him less lonely and makes it a point to try and visit him and bring him nice tea cups and things so that when they're over they can have tea, and that was very sweet. I kind of wish we'd had one more scene with her and Jasper at the end visiting, but maybe in future books we will see more of that. I don't know how many of these characters we are going to see again more regularly. It's hard to guess. There's one named Davy that I think could very easily return in some form or fashion. I can feel like we could see Jasper again. I feel like Tia probably, if she's not getting some kind of spin-off series or not going to get embedded in maybe the other book series, like maybe these are happening in the same universe, right? And so I'm like, okay, maybe something's going to happen there. Do I care? I can't decide. I can't decide if I care enough about Tia and all this. I don't know. There was just a lot going on. The loneliness theme was definitely there. I mean, because I was able to pick up on it. I don't know that the book said anything meaningful about it, though. Or at least nothing that I found particularly meaningful. There's a conversation between Ron and Ibrahim at one point where, Ron's just like, that you're loved, that there are people here who care for you a great deal. The whole kind of point of the book is showing people how much you care, that they're not alone, like Joyce and Jasper and, that kind of thing. But other than that, it seems like a very basic message. And, I don't know. Once again, I've had all these 4-star reads. Is this my 5-star read? I don't know. I can't decide anymore about how I feel about books. I'm having a really difficult time. I feel like everything I've read recently, I've liked pretty well. And because they're all kind of at the same level, it's hard for me to distinguish if they are 4 or 5-star reads. Is it going to stick with me? Probably not. Maybe 5 stars should be reserved for books that are really going to kind of live with me. So maybe this is more of a 4-star, even if it was a 4.75. Maybe I shouldn't be rounding up. When I think about books that stay with me, though, that's very few. So a lot of the books that I have rated 5 stars in the past maybe aren't 5 stars, if that's the metric, right? I don't know. What I need to do is sit down and really figure out how I feel about the 5-star rating system. What I thought I knew, and now it's all kind of vibes, and that's not working for me. I really need to have some distinct criteria, I think. If you have suggestions for criteria for rating books, let me know. I know that Goodreads kind of is I liked it, it was okay, whatever. But do people actually use that? I don't know. This is a really good book, I guess. Is it the best thing I've ever read? No, but very few books are going to be some of the best things I've ever read. Did I like it more than the other books I've read so far this year? Maybe, but maybe only because I really already love these characters. So, this book came in with a bias in its favor, I guess. Now I'm reading the Hanjin Murders. I just picked that up last night. It's a very short book, so I'll probably get through that pretty quickly. I'm really liking it so far, actually. And then I have a book on hold at the library that I need to go grab. But yeah, so The Impossible Fortune. Have you read it? How do you feel about it? In terms of the series as a whole, how do you feel about the way things have progressed, or I don't know, where things might be going? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, take care.